There is a cruel paradox in the physics of love, one that defies everything we were taught about effort and reward. In your career, if you work harder, you achieve more. In the gym, if you lift heavier, you get stronger. But in the realm of deep spiritual connection, the law of effort reverses itself. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. The faster you run toward them, the faster they retreat. You have likely spent months, perhaps years, trying to solve this equation with your mind, analyzing texts, checking last seen times, calculating the perfect thing to say to bridge the distance. And yet, the silence only grows louder. What if I told you that your trying is actually the force that is keeping them away? What if the very energy you're using to fix the connection is the specific frequency that breaks it? Today, we are not talking about mind games or playing hard to get. We are going to deconstruct the quantum dynamics of detachment. We are going to look at why stopping the chase is not an act of giving up. It is the only way to flip the polarity of your connection. Welcome to the paradox. There is a silence that screams. You know this silence well. It is the silence of a phone that does not ring. It is the silence of a question asked to the universe that seems to go unanswered. It is the empty space in the bed beside you, or the empty space in a conversation where a reassurance should be. But what if I told you that this silence is not empty? What if this silence is actually heavy? What if the emptiness you feel is not a passive state, but an active broadcast? We often believe that waiting is something we do while time passes. We think that yearning is a proof of love. We believe that if we ache enough, if we worry enough, if we check the 3D reality enough, we are somehow contributing to the connection, that we are keeping it alive. But in the physics of the soul, yearning is often a disguise for something far more dangerous. It is a vibration known as the frequency of lack. And this frequency is the most powerful repellent in the universe. To the anxious heart, it feels like devotion. But to the unawakened counterpart, the one you are waiting for, it does not feel like love. It feels like a demand. It feels like a debt they cannot pay. It feels like a vacuum trying to consume them. If you have been doing all the work and seeing no movement, it is likely because your spiritual broadcast is still set to this station. Today, we are going to turn it off. Let us deconstruct this. What exactly is lack? We tend to think of lack as a circumstance. I lack a partner. I lack communication. I lack clarity. But spiritually and psychologically, lack is not a circumstance. Lack is a physiological and energetic signature. It begins in the body. When you're in a state of deep longing for your counterpart, your nervous system often shifts into a subtle, chronic fight or flight mode. This is the hunter state. Your eyes dilate metaphorically. Your focus narrows. You become hyper-vigilant to signs, to movement, to social media status updates. You might call this intuition, but often it is simply trauma in a tuxedo. It is your amygdala scanning for a threat, the threat of abandonment. In this state, you become an energetic predator. I say this with infinite compassion because I know the pain that drives it. But we must be honest about the dynamic. When you are hunting for validation, hunting for a sign, hunting for union, your counterpart unconsciously becomes the prey. The unawakened counterpart often the one with the avoidant attachment style, has a nervous system that is exquisitely sensitive to encroachment. They have spent their lives building walls to protect a fragile sense of self. When they feel your lack, which translates to them as a need to be filled, their alarm bells ring. They don't hear, "I love you." They hear, "I need you to save me from this feeling of emptiness." This is why they run. They are not running from you. They are running from the crushing weight of the expectation that they are responsible for your internal state. Now, let's go deeper. Let's look at the quantum mechanics of this frequency. The universe operates on a simple, ruthless law, the law of mirroring. We often quote the law of attraction thinking, if I visualize union, I will get union. But the universe does not reflect what you want. It reflects what you are. If your dominant vibration is I am waiting, the universe says, understood, you are a person who waits. And so it rearranges reality to ensure you have more things to wait for. It gives you delays. It gives you ghosts. It gives you silence, because that is the reality you are observing into existence. By focusing so intensely on the absence of your person, you are performing a continuous quantum observation of absence. You are freezing the lack in place. You are starving the connection by overfeeding the problem. This is the tragedy of the anxious heart. You are working so hard. You are meditating, journaling, doing the shadow work. But if the foundation of that work is the desperate hope that it will bring them back, the frequency underneath the work is still lack. You are digging a hole, hoping to find the sky. So, how do we shift this? How do we stop broadcasting this signal without closing our hearts? We must understand a fundamental spiritual truth. You cannot attract what you already have. Read that again in your mind. You cannot attract what you already have. You can only attract what is separate from you. The frequency of lack screams that the love is outside of you. It is over there, in that person, in that city, in that future timeline. And because it is over there, you're over here, starving. The paradigm shift requires you to realize that in a sacred union, a true soul connection, there is no over there. There is no separation in the quantum field. When you embody the frequency of lack, you are acting out the archetype of the spiritual beggar. You are standing at the gates of your counterpart's heart, bowl in hand, asking for crumbs of attention, crumbs of validation. But a king or a queen does not marry a beggar. Your counterpart, on a soul level, recognizes you as an empress, as a divine equal. When you show up as a beggar, there is a dissonance. They get confused. Their soul knows you are powerful, but your energy says you are powerless. This confusion creates the repulsion. To shift the frequency, you must move from seeking to sourcing. Imagine the sun. The sun does not beg the earth to look at it. The sun does not worry if the clouds cover the ground. The sun simply burns. It emits. It is a source of gravity and light. Because the sun is full of itself, in the best way, the planets have no choice but to orbit it. When you shift out of lack, you become the sun. You stop looking for the heat from them, and you start generating the heat for yourself. This is not about acting like you don't care. The universe smells of fake. This is about reaching a state of saturation. Saturation is the opposite of lack. Saturation means your life is so full, Your heart is so tended to, your purpose is so captivating, that there is literally no room for the anxiety to live. When you are saturated with your own essence, you are no longer a vacuum. You are an overflow. And the unawakened counterpart, who is often starving for real, unconditional love, is drawn to the overflow, not the vacuum. They come to drink, not to be consumed. How do we do this practically? How do we stop the signal of lack today? Here are 3 internal shifts to rewrite your frequency. Shift 1, somatic safety. The body. You must stop the physical signal of the hunt. Throughout your day, you likely have micro moments of panic. You check the phone. Your stomach drops. You see a car that looks like theirs. Your breath shortens. In these moments, you are broadcasting lack. You must interrupt the pattern. When the panic rises, place your hand on your heart. Physically touch yourself. Take a deep breath into the belly, not the chest, and say this mantra: I am safe. I am the source. I am here. You are training your nervous system that safety is inside your body, not in their text message. When your body relaxes, the signal stops. You become invisible to the predator and prey dynamic, and you become visible to the soul. Shift 2, the narrative pivot, the mind. Stop telling the story of the waiting room. Every time you tell your friends, I'm just waiting for him to wake up, or I'm waiting for contact, you're affirming the separation. You are casting a spell of delay. Change the word waiting to preparing. I am preparing for union. I am preparing my life to hold the weight of this great love. Do you see the difference? Waiting is passive and helpless. Preparing is active and royal. An empress prepares her kingdom. She doesn't sit on the porch wondering if the king is coming. She makes sure the throne room is ready. This shift in language changes your vibration from empty to expectant. Shift 3, the law of saturation. The spirit. You must fall in love with the space they left behind. The vacuum they left, the silence, is not a punishment. It is a gift of space. What are you putting in that space? If you fill that space with worry, you are filling it with lack. Instead, fill it with your own joy. Pick up the paintbrush you put down 10 years ago. Start the business. Walk in nature. Become so obsessed with the beauty of your own life that you genuinely forget to check your phone for a few hours. That specific moment when you are so lost in your own joy that you forget them is usually the exact moment they reach out. Why? Because the pressure is gone. The vacuum is filled. The signal of lack has been replaced by the signal of life. The ultimate cure for the frequency of lack is the realization that there is nothing out there that is better than what is in here. This journey, this twin flame path, this sacred union, it was never designed to torture you. It was designed to break your addiction to the external. It was designed to force you to find the altar inside your own heart. Your counterpart is not the source of the love. They are simply the mirror that reflects the love you have for yourself. If the mirror is showing you absence, do not scream at the mirror. Change the object being reflected. Become full. Become radiant. Become the destination, not the waiting room. The chase ends where you begin. When you realize you are the one you have been waiting for, they will realize it too. Stop broadcasting the question. Start broadcasting the answer. If this transmission resonated with your soul, leave a thunderbolt symbol in the comments to claim your sovereignty. I will see you in the next video. There is a specific kind of exhaustion that comes from watching a door that never opens. It is not a physical tiredness. It is a soul-deep fatigue. It is the exhaustion of the sentry, the guard who cannot sleep because they believe that the moment they close their eyes, the thing they are guarding will disappear. You have likely spent months, perhaps years, in this state of hypervigilance. You watch their online status. You watch the energy of the texts. You watch the silence, analyzing its texture, looking for a crack, looking for a sign. You believe that this vigilance is necessary. You believe that your attention is the tether holding the connection together. That if you look away, even for a second, the bond will snap. But what if I told you that your attention is not the tether? What if your attention is the cage? There is a principle in quantum physics that suggests a watched pot literally never boils, that a system under constant observation cannot change its state. By staring so intensely at the reality of separation, you are freezing that reality in place. You are locking the door from the outside, using the heavy weight of your own gaze. Today we are going to explore the power of the quantum observer. We are going to learn how to take your eyes off the lack so that the energy can finally move. Let us look at this through the lens of science and spirit. In quantum mechanics, there is a phenomenon known as the quantum Zeno effect. In simple terms, it states that if you continuously measure or observe a quantum system, it freezes. It cannot evolve. It cannot decay. It cannot change. The act of observation forces the particles to stay in their current state. Now, apply this to the metaphysics of love. You and your unawakened counterpart are entangled. You are part of the same energetic system. When you, the anxious heart, are in a state of obsession, you are performing a continuous measurement of the relationship. Every time you check their social media, you are measuring. Every time you reread old texts, you are measuring. Every time you wake up and immediately scan your intuition for their energy, you are measuring. And what are you measuring? You are measuring their absence. You are measuring the distance. By observing the distance 24 hours a day, you are collapsing the infinite possibilities of the universe into one single hard reality, the reality of distance. You are trapping them in their current state. You are pinning the butterfly under the glass. You want them to change. You want them to awaken. You want them to move toward you. But you are not giving them the darkness, the privacy, or the uncertainty required for transformation. Psychologically, this feels like surveillance, even if you never say a word to them, even if you are in no contact. Energy transcends physical space. Your counterpart feels the weight of your gaze. To the avoidant soul, this energetic stare feels like a spotlight in a dark room. It exposes them, and when a human being feels exposed and watched, they do not open up. They armor up. You are waiting for movement. But you are the one holding the pause button. So, what is the alternative? If watching creates stasis, then what creates movement? We must understand the concept of the wave function. Before you look at a situation, it exists as a wave of infinite possibilities. In the quantum field, your counterpart is both coming toward you and running away. They are waking up and staying asleep. All possibilities exist simultaneously in a state of potential. This is the wave. It is fluid. It is alive. But the moment you look at them with fear, the moment you check up on them with the energy of asking if they are still gone, you collapse the wave. You force the universe to make a decision. And because you are looking through the lens of fear, you collapse the wave into the reality you fear most. You find the evidence that they are moving on. You find the coldness. You create the particle of rejection out of the wave of potential. The paradigm shift is this: you must look away to let the wave expand. This is the hardest thing for the anxious heart to do, because your ego tells you that if you look away, you are abandoning them. No, you are not abandoning them. You are liberating them. Imagine a seed planted in the soil. If you dig it up every hour to see if it has roots, you kill the seed. You have to trust the darkness of the soil. You have to trust the processes you cannot see. When you withdraw your obsessive observer, you stop collapsing their reality. You give them back their anonymity. You give them back their sovereignty. Suddenly, they are no longer the runner being watched by the chaser. They are just a soul, alone with their own thoughts. And in that privacy, without your heavy gaze holding them in place, they become free to change their mind. They become free to feel the cold. They become free to miss the warmth. How do we practice this? How do we stop observing when it has become an addiction? Here are 3 internal shifts to turn off the quantum observer. Shift 1, the privacy policy. You must institute a strict privacy policy for your connection, not for them, but for you. You need to stop consuming their life as content. When you stalk their social media, you are consuming their 3D avatar. You are feeding on the scraps of their public persona. Decide today to grant them the dignity of their own privacy. Release your right to surveil them. This is a power move. It is the move of an empress. An empress does not spy on the king. She assumes he's doing what he needs to do to return to her, or she builds her kingdom without him. Spying is the energy of a servant, not a sovereign. Shift 2. Observe the observer. The next time you feel the urge to check the connection, to pull a tarot card about their feelings, to check their last scene, to analyze a dream, stop. Turn the camera around. Instead of observing them, observe the part of you that wants to observe them. Ask yourself what this part of you is feeling right now. Usually it is terror. It is a little child inside you screaming that mommy is gone. Do not look at the counterpart to soothe the child. Look at the child. Observe your own anxiety with compassion. Be the quantum observer of your own healing. When you observe your own pain, you alchemize it. When you observe their absence, you multiply it. Shift 3. Trust the invisible wave. You must develop a relationship with the invisible. Just because you cannot see the bridge does not mean it isn't there. Tell yourself this mantra: movement is happening in the dark. Visualize the connection not as a static line, but as a river flowing underground. You cannot see the water, you cannot hear it, but you know, with the certainty of physics, that the water is moving toward the ocean. Trust the river. Stop digging holes to check the water level. Let it flow. The paradox of the quantum observer is this: the moment you stop watching for the pot to boil is the moment the water begins to steam. When you reclaim your focus, you are not giving up on the love. You are giving the love room to breathe. You are taking your hands off the throat of the connection. Let them be a mystery for a while. Let yourself be a mystery. It is in the mystery that the magic happens. It is in the uncertainty that the wave function expands back into infinite potential, including the potential for a new, higher timeline of union. Stop watching the door. Go tend to the fire in your own hearth. When the room is warm enough, the door will open itself. Trust the dark. That is where the light grows. There is a specific type of exhaustion that only strong women know. It is the exhaustion of being the architect, the builder, and the foundation of a connection all at once. You have carried the emotional weight. You have held the vision when they could not see it. You have been the keeper of the flame, protecting it from the wind with your bare hands. You believe that this effort is required. You believe that if you put the weight down, the roof will cave in. That if you stop doing, the connection will die. But I want you to look at your hands. They are trembling, not from weakness, but from over-functioning. In the physics of love, there is a brutal truth. You cannot simultaneously hold the space and fill the space. You cannot be the one chasing the king and the one sitting on the throne. By over-functioning, you have accidentally abdicated your seat of power. You have become the manager of the connection instead of the muse. Today, we are going to talk about the return to the throne. We are going to discuss the Empress state. This is not about arrogance. It is about physics. It is about shifting your gravity so that instead of leaning forward, you lean back. And when you lean back, the universe rushes in to meet you. Let's diagnose the energy of the anxious heart through the lens of polarity. In every sacred union, there is a polarity, positive and negative, electric and magnetic, projective and receptive. These are not gender roles. They are energetic currents. When you are in a state of fear, fear of loss, fear of abandonment, your energy becomes projective. You lean forward, you initiate, you analyze, you fix. You are sending energy out. In this state, you are occupying the masculine energetic pole. You are the hunter. Now, physics dictates that nature seeks balance. If you are occupying the projective or masculine pole 100%, where does that leave your unawakened counterpart? It forces them energetically into the receptive or feminine pole. They become passive. They lean back. They receive your attention, your worry, your energy, and they do nothing. You are waiting for them to step up. You are waiting for them to take charge, to claim the connection, to pursue you, but you have left no room for them to do so. You are playing their part for them. Psychologically, this is known as over-functioning. It is a trauma response. Somewhere in your past, you learned that you are only safe if you are in control. You learned that love is something you earn through labor, not something you receive through being. You think you are fighting for the connection, but in reality, you are suffocating the polarity. A king cannot rise if the queen is doing his job. As long as you are the one rowing the boat, they will happily sit as the passenger. It is time to put down the oars. The paradigm shift requires us to move from the archetype of the hunter to the archetype of the Empress. The hunter goes out to get. The hunter operates from scarcity, believing that if they do not catch it, they will starve. The Empress operates from the garden. The Empress is the embodiment of the divine feminine principle of receivership. She does not run after the bees. She grows the flowers. She tends to the soil. She makes the garden so lush, so fragrant, so vibrant that the bees have no choice but to come. It is biological law. This is the shift from force to power. Force is trying to break down a door. Power is unlocking it from the inside and waiting for the knock. When you embody the Empress state, you become a gravitational field. You stop projecting your energy outward toward the counterpart. You recall your energy back into your own core. You saturate your own life. This creates a vacuum of desire. When you stop leaning forward, you create energetic space. Suddenly, your counterpart feels a shift. The pressure is gone. The mothering energy is gone. The manager is gone. In that silence, they begin to feel the cold. They begin to wonder where the warmth went. And for the first time, their own masculine instinct to seek and protect and claim begins to wake up. You're not playing hard to get. You are simply being hard to earn. There is a difference. One is a game. The other is a standard of high value. How do we embody this practically? How do you stop the addiction to doing? Here are 3 internal shifts to enter the Empress state today. Shift 1. Radical self-sourcing. The cup. The Empress never pours from an empty cup. For years, you have been giving your counterpart the first sip of your energy. You wake up and check their energy. You worry about their mood. You structure your day around their potential communication. Stop. From this moment on, you are the first priority. If you are tired, you rest. You do not stay up waiting for a text. If you are inspired, you create. You do not dampen your light because they are in the shadows. Treat yourself like the most precious asset in the connection, because you are. If the Empress collapses, the kingdom falls. Your joy is not a luxury. It is the fuel of the magnetic field. Shift 2. The shift from available to accessible. There is a difference between being available and being accessible. A 24-hour convenience store is available. It has harsh lighting, it is always open, and anyone can walk in at 3 a.m. It is convenient, but it is not respected. A bank vault is accessible, but you need a key. You need to come during hours. There are protocols. The anxious heart is often a convenience store. You reply instantly. You drop everything. You accept crumbs. The Empress is a vault. You are kind. You are loving. But your time and your energy are guarded resources. You do not reward low-effort behavior with high-access energy. If they want the Empress, they must step up to the level of the Empress. Shift 3. The art of receivership. The open hand. This is the hardest shift for strong women. You must learn to receive without guilt and without controlling how it comes. Many of you are blocking the connection because you are blocked to receiving. You are so used to giving, fixing, and managing that receiving feels unsafe. It feels like loss of control. Practice receiving in small ways. Let a stranger open the door. Let a friend pay for coffee. Do not deflect compliments. Say thank you and breathe it in. When you open your capacity to receive, you signal to the universe and to your counterpart that you are ready to be met. You are ready to be held. You are done holding yourself. The Empress does not chase. Because the Empress knows she is the destination. You are not a rest stop on their journey. You are the home they are trying to return to. But they cannot return home if the home is chasing them down the street. Stay in your center. Tend to your garden. Trust your gravity. When you finally sit down on your throne, fully sourced, fully sovereign, fully in love with your own life, you will look up and you will see them walking through the gate. Not because you drag them, but because there is nowhere else in the world that feels like your light. The magnet does not apologize for its gravity. Detachment is not an ending. It is a beginning. It is the moment you stop waiting for life to start and you simply start living. And paradoxically, it is often in this precise moment, when you no longer need them to breathe, when you no longer need them to feel whole, that they turn around, because you are no longer a vibration of lack. You have become a vibration of home. Don't wait, create. I'll see you in the next video.